All right, everyone, here we go with an energy weather update. Tell you what, there's a lot of, well, I'm opening with a star. That's nice, right? It's nice. There's a lot of healing energy around right now. There's a whole lot of it. It's happening for a number of reasons, a couple of reasons in astrology and a couple of reasons in the core energy cycles. Okay, let's just leave it at there's a lot of healing going on in the environmental energies around us. There's a whole lot of you, me, Flem the parrot, your dog, everybody stepping into who they are, stepping on right paths. We're getting a lot of course corrections, all right? But you're sort of stepping into who you are, stepping into yourself, coming out on stage, and if you're in your mind's eye, there's a crowd cheering, that kind of a thing. This energy's around all week. It actually is. It's actually around probably, I would say, until damn close to the 20th, damn close to around the time Mercury stops going retrograde, okay? It's probably going to stretch that far. It won't stretch that far astrologically. The astrological influences will probably fade out before then. However, the core energy cycles, there's a whole bunch of little cycles and things that are popping off over the next week or so. And you'll feel those. You might be a little moody, okay? That's the downside. So if you're a little moody, blame it on that, all right? One thing to be careful of, we got a star here. Well, let's just give you the surface energy. I said what I didn't want to tell you. I got the star in the world. I mean, that's like the main energy that's here. There's an emperor, an energy of control, an energy of large and in charge. But I mean, you're stepping into a whole new world. You're stepping into who you really are, right? Who we really are is not our car. It's not our fancy job. It's not any of that. That's all ego shit. It's in the soul. There's a lot of soul energy here. But it has a knock-on effect of, in the 3D, making you feel large and in charge. Now, I did want to warn you. I always like to warn you about things while I shuffle for our reading. With Mars in Pisces, I want to remind you, well, it's what I said in the reading, but there's also the knock-on effect of we're convinced that we're right, and we stick with it. No, my gut tells me this is it, and you're convinced of it. Be wary of that being convinced that you're right or that you can't be wrong. Be very wary of that. Question that. Just be willing to question it because it'll feel very strong with Mars in Pisces. You know, Mars in Pisces that we have right now, like I said in the reading the other day, it doesn't make for outward aggression, and yeah, it's a very laid back energy, but it's still Mars, right? It can make you very impulsive, you know, with regards to your gut. You know. So keep that in mind. That's all. But yeah, stepping into yourself, who you really are, feeling large and in charge. It's all right there in the pre-shuffle. Here we go with the general reading. It may or may not resonate with you, but if the title brought you in here, you found Steve's Love Tarot, you're here for a reason. It wouldn't let me shuffle anymore. This reading is timeless. I'm not a fucking Time Lord, right? You're all moving at different speeds on your timeline, but these are the energies in your neighborhood right now. It's Four of Wands. The overall energy. Crossing the center card I'm going to pull, but it's still the overall energy. It's the environmental energy. That's what we're pulling on here anyway. Is the Four of Wands. So you can pair that, and there's the Page of Swords, and underneath that is Strength. Again, we're pushing past a lot of... This little page here is screwed here in the middle. I mean, we're pushing past a lot of disappointments, a lot of things. If somebody's watching you and you were in their rearview mirror, you're about to pass them and they're about to figure out that they can't catch up to you. That kind of a thing. We got passionate new beginning here for you. It's a bit of a, this can also be a bit of a phoenix rising from the ashes. It can also be you might hear from somebody who you once thought was great. And you're like, oh, I'm excited. They texted me. You're all excited. And you talk to them and you're like, Why? Well, again, because you're showing up. You're large and in charge. It is a lot of healing. We're healing a lot of disappointments. We're getting stronger. Your vibration is growing. Your frequency is going up. All right, let's see where we go. Your stock is on the rise, if you will. It's a culmination energy. It feels like a culmination energy, meaning it's been building for a while. If you're someone who's been doing a lot of introspection, a lot of inner work, a lot of thinking, a lot of figuring out, well, who am I? Where am I going? What am I doing? Kind of a thing. This is the energy for you. This is where you figure it out. All right? And I'm not even going to tell you believe it once you figure it out or anything like that. No, it sticks. It sticks to you. All right, let's see where we go. Five of Wands. Judgment. See what I'm saying? He's a big, I mean, that's all this shit I just got done talking about is crossing God's source, the universe itself. It's judgment. But what I also said is it sticks. It's not something I have to say, well, when you see who you really are, believe it. You know, you'll believe it. It's Archangel Gabriel. That horn sounds the word of God and makes it understandable to the common man. All right? It's a bit of that. All right, I mean, I'm just saying. What else we got to do with the Seven of Wands? The Queen of Wands. All right. So we talked about, I wanted to see what's under strength. Oh, yeah, that's nice. Ah, that is nice. All right, let's see where we go. I think there was a Nine of Swords underneath that. That doesn't surprise me. But that would be, again, that would be pushing past worrying about nonsense. I don't think anybody worries about nonsense in this energy. I'm going to clarify with the big animal deck, which has victory at the bottom. There was a reading I did recently. It was one of the bigger readings, one of the main readings on the channel that ended with a Six of Wands. This still has that energy attached to it. So whatever I said for that final outcome still applies. All of my readings tie together. I'm not just pulling willy-nilly shit out here. All right, let's pull on Judgment because this is an energy weather update. We're talking about the environmental energy, and here it is. Here's the baseline energy right here. But I want to know more about this Judgment here. Why is God's source, the universe, getting involved? Why are the big boys playing here? And big girls, I'm sorry. Right. All right, here we go. I think she's bigger than him. You know, so definitely some big girls. All right, let's see where we go. Judgment. Let's see where we're at. Tell me about it. It's nice energy. I like it. Again, it might, on the downside, it might make you a little moody. There's some cycles that are changing in the core energies. It might show up in your horoscopes. I don't know. If it does, it'll show up in ones where you're getting scopes on your specific chart, like custom scopes, not the ones out on the web for general consumption kind of thing. But yeah, you might have some moments where you're trying to figure out and sort out relationships, you know, Mars trining this or that, or Mars opposing this or that in your specific chart. But really, it's about the core energies. We've got a lot of mid-range cycles that are flipping within a large cycle that's already flipped. Right? So we had that big world point, the 36-year cycle. I said expect some big shit. Did big shit or not happen recently? Hello? You know, I mean, I say, oh, man. All right. I'll tell you what. But big shit in our lives is happening too. I will tell you. Got to watch that impulsive behavior. Everything, when Jupiter goes direct, everything comes with consequences. Right? And I think a lot of times in our lives, in our personal lives, we don't tend to think about those. You know, a lot of people right now are very short-sighted. To be very careful about that. Right? And I say that as I pull the King of Wands is crossing Judgment here. Your ego is getting stroked in all of this. And I said with the Emperor, right? I talked about it in the pre-shuffle. I said your ego gets stroked. A lot of this is happening in the 5D, but all this coming into your own, who you really are is in the soul. But the byproduct of that is you feel large and in charge in life. You feel like a rock star walking out on stage. They get all that energy from the crowd. It's hard not to get an ego about that. It's hard not to let that go to your head. You get all that energy. They get addicted to that energy. That's why they're still going on stage when they're 80 with a cane. Like, oh, I got to have it. It's like a drug, right? It's tough. It's tough. Most people can't handle that kind of energy. That's why a lot of them end up dead. Most people can't handle that kind of popularity, right? Most of the people that are influencers out here on YouTube, no way have the high enough vibration to handle it. It goes to their head. You see all the time these videos that people put up with as an influencer in a restaurant saying, don't you know who I am? You know, that kind of a thing. You got 3,000 followers on Instagram. You're nobody. You know, move and let somebody else come forward. You know, again, it's go into your head. And so it depends on what kind of vibration you are. If you're a high vibration person, most of what's happening, you'll be able to process it without it going to your head. But this is mid-level. So for most of you, you need to keep your ego in check. It's extremely important. It's going to feel, a lot of the healing energy here is going to feel like a drug. I equated it to the rock star walking out on stage and the roar of the crowd. That is like a drug. And it is extremely addictive. This energy will be like that. It'll be extremely addictive. Real easy for you to get hooked. and run with it and become some fool who walks into a McDonald's and says, don't you know who I am? Right? I mean, you know, I got 10 Instagram followers. I'm Becky Sims. Okay, all right, calm down there, Becky Sims. All right, what's on top? Never heard of you. All right, here we go with the Queen of Swords on top of it. And why is that here? I'm always afraid when I make up a name that it's somebody's name watching and they're going to freak out. Oh my God, I did that, but it was at Wendy's. You know, that kind of a thing. I don't know. Anyway, why is the Queen of Swords here? The Ace of Swords. She's holding the Ace of Swords. But you see, I'm just going to show this to you. This just backs up what I said. The Queen of Swords comes out, and then the Ace of Swords comes out, which means the sword got away from her. As long as the Queen is controlling the sword, everything's fine. But if it gets away from her, right, it's like a 2-year-old picking up a pretend lightsaber in a toy store. Somebody's going to get whacked. You know, it can run wild. Be careful, all right? Maintain control. Maintain a cold demeanor, if you can. Cool, calm, cool, and collected. This energy will go to your head. You know, it can happen to the best of us, even if you're high vibration. I'm not trying to single anybody out, especially not Becky Sims. I mean, we all know who she is. Anyway, at the end of the day here, try to keep it in check. Try to keep control of the sword. All right, that's all I'm saying. Okay, yeah, that's 2 of Cups. Keep it in balance. That's the bridging energy. Keep it in check. All right, that being said, I want to pull on the 7 of Wands here. You're winning a battle that you didn't think you'd ever win. Okay? And again, I had a King of Wands here, I got a Queen of Wands here. This is just talking about superficial energy. You're winning a battle right now, energetically. You're getting some healing on something. Over the next week it peaks, but it'll probably play out and dissipate out over the next few months. All right? Listen to me now, believe me later, hear me some other fucking time. But you're winning a battle that has been being fought for a long time, and at times you didn't think you'd win it. Okay? Don't glaze over the fact that you just won. Oh, I won. Okay, cool. Right. Dig deep into this. Don't just look at the surface of this. Go back all the way to when you weren't winning and take a look at it. A good time to look back on when you weren't doing well, for example, is when you are doing well. That's a really good time to look back on it, right? Jimmy Buffett did it in his great peanut butter conspiracy. Looking back at his hard luck days, he really did have to laugh, right? Working in a dive for $26, you know, that kind of a thing. It's a good time while you're healing. It's a good time to look back on when you weren't doing so well. Right? It helps you, it prevents you from ever going back there again, right? But also it keeps you sharp. In case you do, you'll know how to handle it. You'll remember how to handle it. Be careful about just taking it for granted. Okay, that's part of the ego energy. That's part of the sword of truth getting away from you. All right? Keep a balance here. Keep the sword in check. 7 of Wands. Tell me about it. Tell me about this battle. All right? Tell me about it. Really, it's excellent energy. Just a couple of friendly warnings. It'll get away from you. It'll go to your head. You'll turn into Becky Sam. Don't do that. Don't ever say to somebody, don't you know who I am? Don't ever do that. It's just fucking terrible. It's a stupid thing to say. If you ever want to see it, though, just come to LA. You'll see somebody will say it at some point during the day. 5 of Pentacles. And what else? 9 of Cups. Well, that's weird. And what's the bridge? But King of Cups. It reads like whatever this battle is, whatever this thing is that you're getting a hold of, that makes you see who you really are, it's something you pretended you didn't lose even when you were losing. It's sort of like, if I'm to give an extreme example, you were down on your luck, you were living behind a 7-Eleven in a box, didn't even have a car to live in, you were just living in a box behind a 7-Eleven, right? And you pretended that you weren't. You pretended that that box was your fucking mansion. You know, it's a 3-bedroom box with 2 bathrooms. I mean, I don't know. You pretended that you didn't lose. You pretended that you weren't out in the cold. There's no other way to put it. That's just what it's coming out here. Whatever this battle is, all of that pretending worked out to your advantage. You manifested the win, is what I'm trying to say. Okay. I'm giving you an extreme example. I'm sure you weren't living behind a 7-Eleven in a box, but if you were, you probably eat real well. They throw away a lot of good shit in those dumpsters, I'll tell you. But anyway, you sort of brought this wind about. This has been building a long time. I could tell by this energy. This has been building a long time. You just, even when this energy kicked you down, it was a win for you. Whether you may not have even realized it, with the King of Cups here, sometimes we don't even realize we're doing that. Okay? You're being, do I want to say you're being rewarded for something? Well, crossing it is the Hanged Man. We didn't really look at that. Yeah. Your perspective, it's part of the reason I read it this way. Your perspective on the loss was, this is great. This is terrific. Oh, I got a terrific box out behind the 7-Eleven. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, right? It was a refrigerator box. So it got a lot of headroom. You did something right here. Whatever it is. Even if this had you crying in a corner, drinking whiskey, going, I hate you, Steve, right? Whatever. You did something right here. You manifested something good. But this card, this energy is talking about, and so is this, with perspective. You need to keep perspective on this. You need to look back to when you lost. It's easy, and this is also backing up what I said. It's easier to look back on a loss when you're in a win energy. And right now, you're about to become a winner. You're about to be in a win energy. It's the perfect time to put the finishing touches on this battle, provided you don't let the wind go to your head. And why would it? Why would the wind go to your head? Why is it like stepping out in front of a crowd? Well, usually those rock stars had to work really hard to get there. It's not something, not most of the time, it's not something daddy hands you because he owns the record label or something. You had to work really hard. You played a bunch of bars, you did a bunch of shit, and it's kind of a rush to see that 40,000 people paid good money to come see you play. It can kind of go to your head. It's a bit of that with this here. You went through a struggle, right? You earned this. And sometimes that can go to our head. When we earn it, sometimes it's always better to earn it, but sometimes that earning it gives us a big ego, right? It does, quite a bit. All right, Queen of Wands, why is it here? Let's see where we're at. 9 of Pentacles. Yeah. It's everything I said. The environmental energy is 9 Pentacles. It's everything I said. It's like the advice somebody might tell you, remember where you came from. If nothing else, you might be able to help somebody else coming up, right? Which applies in business or rock star or here, right? I mean, it is what it is. What's on top here? Anyway, Lovers and 8 Wands here. It's everything I pretty much just said, although this is kind of happening. I think you get a lot of, look, I'm just going to say, you're winning a battle. You're elevating, your energy is elevating. You're figuring out who you are. Remember where you came from so that I think you could help somebody else. I think the universe, the energy right now, in order to balance, is trying to get everybody to see, and I'm getting this in my offline readings a lot too. It's not something people want to hear, unfortunately, but I'm getting it where the energy around us, I'm not sure if it's literal or not, but it seems to be trying to remind everybody that everybody matters. There seems to be this selfish element that's been around for a long time. I say people are very self-absorbed, that kind of thing, but now it's spreading to a world sort of environment. It's very dangerous. And I think the energy around us is trying to daisy chain some things. It's like, hey, I'll elevate you and give you this. If you teach somebody else, you elevate somebody else, and then that person elevates somebody else and does this and does that. I think it's trying to balance energy that way. It's trying to do whatever it can to balance energy. All right? Let's see what else the universe wants to tell you. Your energy is getting balanced. Keep your ego in check. All right? That's all I'm saying. Remember where you came from. And you came from there. Okay? I'll tell you what. And it applies on many levels. I've given extreme examples. This might be very small for you. It might have been a small struggle. I don't know. Whatever it is. It's going to play at the same frequency of energy. It'll play out 1,000 different ways. People always assume if it's something, I'm giving a giant example, well, that's not for me. Right? It might be something smaller. That's all. I have no idea what it is for you. It could be any little thing. There's a lot of healing. Your takeaway, there's a lot of healing to be had within the energy. Let it happen to you, and don't let it go to your head when it does. Remember where you came from. In other words, remember when you weren't healed. And then share how you got healed with somebody else. The universe is rewarding that. The energy around us is rewarding sharing information quite a bit. And I think that came up in the extended and the Mars reading. I talked about that. You know, it must have been that. I don't remember. All my readings kind of tie together. But there's something about sharing information, passing information on, something along those lines. You know, everybody matters kind of a thing. I have no idea. But I know it's in the energy for sure. It's really been there. All right, let's go. Oh, wow. Final message to you. Empress reversed and the Ace of Swords. Don't fuck it up, kid. See, advice my dad gave me before I left for California. When I was 19, I called him up on the payphone from the airport. I've told the story before. That's my dad's advice. That was it. Well, I'm going to California. I'll see you later. All right. Well, don't fuck it up, kid. That's all he said. Well, that's what the universe is saying to you. Don't fuck it up, kid. You're the Empress. Remember that. If you forget that and this sword runs wild, it'll turn on you too. Okay? It will. Look, it is what it is. The energy around us is trying to balance, whether it's the earth, whether it's the human race, or whether it's in your life, or whatever. It's trying to balance. It could even apply if you are an influencer. Maybe you're going to get a helping hand. You're going to find your message, your point of view. And once you find that, you attract a lot of people. So that's your reading. I hope it was helpful. Good luck.